What's your favorite scary movie?
Be like, I'm dying.
If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, they guys," I'm like, "It's over and done. We're married now."
Someone in the movie, so I'm like, kiss. But
Oh God, what a sea of humanity.
What up? Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see you made it, Spencer. Hello. Welcome in to 52/1994, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1994. I am your host, Cody, and I am joined by my co-host this week, Spencer. How's it going?
It's going good. I barely made it.
You did great. I was rooting you on the entire time you were coming in here.
I was here. My son had just woke up. My headphones wouldn't connect. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's fine though. If you need to do anything, I've got this for, the first few minutes if you need to clean anything up or do anything you need to. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. So just let me know. Keep me informed.
You're good.
Okay. Welcome in all slashers, I guess is what we're calling them. Slashers, thank you for being here. And if this is your first time joining us, I really do want to welcome you in. We're happy to have you here today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up about what we're doing here. Basically, we watch movies from the year 1994. We did a whole year last year where we watched movies from 1993, but we're doing 1994. It's 30-year anniversary of all these movies, and we've chosen 52 of them. Important movies released this year, and we're doing them in monthly categories. So last month we had a Jim Carrey month. This month, because it's February, we have Valentine's Day. We're doing a romance month. Doesn't matter if these movies are good or bad. They're just important. And then I have my guest host on to talk about them and then maybe see what they've been watching lately. So, Spencer, how's it going? I love your face.
So you mentioned the romance category, and I thought I would hate it. I absolutely love this movie.
This movie?
Yes, this one in particular. There were some other ones I didn't like Chungking Express as much as you did, but this one, I don't know why. This one slapped.
No, I agree. I was very surprised by this movie. It kind of took me. It reminds me of some movies that I have mentioned to you before that I've been like, oh, this is so much like this. And I think you would enjoy it. So I'm glad.
Because you said that it reminds you of movies you've recommended to me, but it reminds me of, and I may have to switch the order of some categories because it is the exact same as a movie that I watched growing up.
Okay. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, so you've never seen this movie before. I've never seen this movie before.
Oh.
And I'm trying to think we've kind of already given our first impressions here about how much we did like this movie. This movie just kept, one thing I'll say is it kept surprising me. We'd be 30 minutes in and then something would happen and then another 30 minutes and something, and my jaw's on the floor. And it's not like it's a suspenseful movie or anything like that. It is a comedy. It is a drama. It is a romance. It is mostly a family movie, honestly. And I would love to see this movie remade again and again and again. And I think there are some really...
It has been.
I know. But I think there's a really cool opportunity with this movie that you could see other cultures, other people coming in, adapting this. And we do see that with one of the remakes that has been made. So I think there's it's a great story, and I think it can apply to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is textbook rom-com, because it had the perfect balance of both. I laughed a whole lot, but at the same time, I felt a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think it was a perfect balance of that.
I agree with you, and I thought it had the perfect balance of like that family drama element in there too. So it was really good. I'm gonna struggle with some of these names because I obviously don't speak Chinese or Mandarin or any of this. So I please forgive me, anybody that is watching that may be offended by me chopping up these names as poorly as I will. But let's get into it. Let me introduce the movie. Does he love Pluto as much as Tubi? No, I love Tubi forever. Tubi is my number one. So first, let me just go with some basic facts about this movie. The title is Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. It was released on my birthday, August 3rd, 1994. So I was a really cool 7-year-old at this point. It was directed by Ang Lee, who has went on to do like much bigger movies: Brokeback Mountain, Life of Pi, just to name a few. Sense and Sensibility, which is playing behind me, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, just to name a few. Small director, you know. This movie was written by Ang Lee, James Shamus, Shamus, and Hui Ling Wang as the writers. And then the cast, here's where it's going to get a little difficult. So please bear with me. Loon Si-hung as Shu, Yang Kui Mei as Shu Jia Jin, Wu Xian Lin as Shu Jia Qian, Wang Yumint as Shu Jianing. Stop, man. I saw these names earlier and I was like, I'm done for me. Winston Chow as Li Kai. That's an easy one. Sylvia Chang as Liang Jinrong. Gua Le as Madame Liang. Chen Chao Jung as Guo Lun. Wang Jui as Old Wen. And Lu Chin Chang as Ming Dao. Woo!
I think you killed it.
Thank you. I would love to have somebody who speaks Mandarin to come in here and be like, "You fucked that all up."
When I started like writing down my notes for this movie, I put like the middle sister, the younger sister. I was like, I'm never gonna remember this. But then I actually did remember it, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of proud.
I actually went to YouTube and I was trying to find pronunciations. I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So I feel like I'm good enough. I could do this. Synopsis for you: Master Chef Shu is semi-retired and lives at home with his 3 unmarried daughters: Jia Zhen, a religious chemistry teacher; Jia Chen, an airline executive; and Jia Ning as an employee at a fast food joint. Life at the family's house revolves heavily around preparing and eating an elaborate dinner every Sunday. The stability of these meals gives them strength as they deal with new romantic relationships and disappointments. This movie had roughly a budget around $1 million, and it made $24.2 million in the box office. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 88%, IMDb score of 7.8 out of 10, and a Letterboxd score of 4.1 out of 5. Roger did review it, but he did it for a show, so I don't have anything like written down. I didn't watch his review of this. But the movie's main appeal, beyond stomach yearnings caused by its cuisine, comes from the actors who infuse their archetypal roles with comedic appeal. That's Desson Thomas, who's a frequent critic on here from the Washington Post. And then Anthony Lane of the New Yorker says that guarantee of good taste is finally a bit of a downer. There are plenty of surprises, but no hint of risk. Yeah, I don't know. And just we had already kind of mentioned this before, but there was a remake of this. It was called Tortilla Soup. It is in English. It is a 2001 American comedy drama film directed by Maria Ripoll. It is a Hispanic version of this, which I really want to watch because I think that, again, I just think this is ripe for people to just remake this movie over and over again. There was also a semi-sequel called Eat, Drink, Man, Woman 2012. Also, it was billed as Joyful Reunion in English. That was released, again, 2012. Jui Yon Sao, producer of the original film, served as the director, and it dealt with new characters. I haven't been able to find that one. This is the final film in Ang Lee's Father Knows Best trilogy. The first two being Pushing Hands, and the second one being The Wedding Banquet. And finally, this movie was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards. It did not win, though, so it's unfortunate. I'm very sorry for it.
So you bring up Tortilla Soup, and that's the one I was going to talk about that I grew up watching. And I say grew up watching, like not a ton, but I mean, I think I watched it a few times. I want to say I was introduced to it 2001 in some early Spanish class, learning Spanish language and culture and food and stuff like that, and really enjoyed it. And so watching this after I had already watched that, I was like, bro, this is just tortilla soup. like, what is happening? It kept coming across my mind. I was like, what is happening? And then, so I looked, and yeah, the three writers are all credited on IMDb for Tortilla Soup as well. I assume because it was like a remake.
Yeah. So that's cool that you have actually seen this movie before.
Kind
of. In its remake form. Do you like that movie? Do you enjoy
I love that movie. Yeah, it felt so familiar because I was like, this is like, I've seen this before, but I haven't, because obviously it's in a different language. So I was like, this is weird. And then finally I did research it. I was like, this has to be Tortilla Soup. Like, Tortilla Soup has to be a remake of this. So I finally did research it, and it was. Yeah, I absolutely love Tortilla Soup. It's, I mean, it's the same story, but with Latin cuisine. So
yeah,
I mean, I felt like I related more to it based on where I grew up and stuff.
Well, so. I knew I was really excited when I saw that Tortilla Soup existed because I know you and I know like Spanish language fit, like you loved like the Spanish language film. And I think you that was like you either majored or minored in Spanish. You speak Spanish, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna love this because I can point him to another one. But I'm glad that you've already seen it. I really do want to see that the remake. I believe it's on. I don't even know, one of the streaming services, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
It's got high reviews, so yeah. I mean, it's good. It's it'll make you hungry, just like this one did.
Yes, this one definitely made me hungry, and we definitely went to dim sum after we watched this movie. So, all right, so let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's talk about Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, not Tortilla Soup, although you probably could do the other one, but. Let's talk about some of the scenes that really stick out to us. So I'll go ahead and let you start us off. I'm sure we have very similar scenes.
Well, and I do have some questions depending on if you speak on these scenes or not. Also, I kind of take notes as we're watching. So, so the first note I had was the fact that I was eating pizza rolls as he started killing and gutting the fish.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
So that opening scene where he's preparing the food for Sunday dinner, and also, I mean, you get a lot in that scene too because you get introduced to all three daughters at this point, and you get their vibe. You get to know who's the oldest daughter and who's the middle daughter and who's the youngest from this, and you get to see each of their occupations and what they do. Although I didn't understand what Jia Qian did first. She's the one that works for the airplane or the executive. I still don't know what he was or she does for a living. But yeah, we get to see some really elegant like making of this food. And I see people in the chat already talking about when he's blowing up the duck.
Oh, I'll bring that up.
Also like stripping on like skinning that chicken, which I didn't know. And like you could like that was interesting. How he kills fish too by sticking the chopsticks in there and just
for no reason at all. That fucked me up. Like that's when I was eating. Like he stuck chopsticks in there and then just, and I was like we just banged their heads on the table. Like,
which one's better?
I mean, I don't know that either one is. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was eating pizza rolls, and he starts.
There's some really cool stuff in there, and like when he's done and he's plating and he's making, like, it is very pretty. It's very reminiscent of other food movies that I've seen, like a movie called The Big Night, which is I think Tony Shalhoub's in that movie, but it's all about like impressing this this person. It's like a 96 film, but Stanley Tucci, Tony Shalhoub's in this movie, and it's about two guys that run an Italian restaurant. The food is beautiful in that movie as well. I do recommend people go watch that.
Alyssa brings up a good point. She said beautiful food that she never wants to see prepared. That reminds me. So we had a friend that slaughtered their own cow. So obviously they were selling like different cuts of meat or whatever. I was like, has anybody bought the tongue yet? And sure enough, they hadn't. So I bought this 4-pound tongue, and because like tacos de lengua is a thing.
Yeah.
And
I've had
so
tongue
I
before.
looked up how to prepare it, and it was like an old leather shoe. Like you had to scrape off the taste buds and like boil it, and it looked absolutely disgusting until it was finally done. And then it tasted delicious. But like preparing it and having to see it prepared kind of altered my taste just a little bit. I love it. I still love it, but it altered it a little bit because it was really gross.
Well, that's kind of when I was watching it with like Alyssa does not like meat. Like she likes it prepared. It's already done. Like it's already ready to eat. She does not mess with meat at all. Chickens and stuff like that. She's like, nuh-uh, I don't like this. And I'm like,
as a kid, I couldn't eat a chicken if it still looked like a chicken. Like I didn't like it.
But like you see veins or like sinews and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that really, I'll eat it. I don't want to touch it. That's exactly what she said. Yeah.
I get it.
So, no, I like this scene. Who was he talking to on the phone?
Who was he talking? I don't remember. I was
a little confused by that.
Were they questioning the quality of something?
Yeah, I was a
the
little
fish, maybe.
I was a little confused at first, but you know, I'm good now. I don't know. I that was one of the things. Like, I felt like if I had spoken the language and wasn't reading subtitles, I would have caught things a little earlier that I didn't understand. But it kind of Yes, the phone combos definitely made no sense. Thank you. Thank you.
I get some like forgiveness there because, like you said, we don't speak the language. You know, they're doing their best on the subtitles. I'm not gonna like let that affect my review.
It actually, yeah, same. And it didn't matter once I got past that point. But one thing I'll say that I did, and I kind of regret doing, but I started the movie off. There was that phone conversation in the beginning, and I was like, I don't like and it was free. I was watching like in a library app. And I was like, I don't like these subtitles because I don't think they match what's being said. So I went and bought rented it from Amazon, and it was the exact same subtitles. I was like, well, I guess whatever. Like,
that was one of my main questions, is because you told me you were like, I think the subtitles are wrong, and I was like, but because I finished it. I started and finished it on the library app. I was like, they seem fine to me, other than, you know, a little bit of confusion with that. But
yeah, it really was the phone conversation. It threw me off, and I was like, screw these subtitles. I'm going to watch it on this paid thing. And yeah, I regret it a little bit, but it was the exact same translation, everything. So, anything else in that opening scene besides the food being gorgeous and us getting introduced to these three daughters?
Yeah, that's a shit ton of food for 4 people. That's what.
Every time, but she addresses that later. She's like, yeah, I can't just make food for a couple people. I have to, you know.
That's wild, man. That was like, that's a shit ton of food.
But what does he do with it after?
Well, because remember, he had to leave early to go to, and I'll get to this too. He had to leave early to go to that wedding.
Oh yeah, they give it to.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only that, but they were like boxing it up and stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not like they waste it.
Yeah, they eat it for lunch that week, I guess.
But and one of my scenes comes right after this, and it's so he has to leave early and go to that wedding dinner. But then my first like notable scene or best scene, and honestly one of my favorites looking back is just the banter between Mr. Chu and Old Wen after the wedding dinner, just because Old Wen really makes me laugh, and
Yeah.
like their banter. I don't know. I just I felt like I wanted to be their friend. Like it made me feel like part of them. Like
Yeah.
their banter was really good.
One thing I like about Shu and Mr. Shu and Old Wen is that you find out very early on that he's losing his taste, and that the way he judges if something is good is the look on Old Wen's face as he's eating it, and I really like that. But even he took that first bite and he was just like,
Dude, yeah, I thought he hated it.
yeah, he was like, it's good. I wish I understood what the soup or whatever was that he had made.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
Dragon something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because I know they had talked about the shark fin soup and that somebody had bought like fake shark fin and it dissolved.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a pretty cool glimpse into like culturally, different food is like, because I mean, obviously here we're not eating shark fin soup or, stuff like that. So that's honestly, that's one of the things I really, really loved about this movie too, is just like the openness to the culture and like exposing others to the culture of food where we would never, we would never know.
Yeah. I mean, you eat. So we're all American here, but like we eat Chinese food, or we eat like we have an Americanized Chinese food here. But even if you go to like an authentic Chinese place, like I still don't feel like we're getting anywhere near the cuisine that they're serving in this film. Like it makes me want to like go there and eat food, even though I might not like it. I don't know, just because of.
We'll try it.
You want to go?
Yeah, let's try.
I don't. Should we go to Taiwan? I don't know.
The only thing I probably won't try, and I think I told you this, is like the century egg shit. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'll try anything. I'll try. Why not?
I mean, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Let's get a century egg.
Think they'll ship it over here?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get any worse.
I mean, you're right.
I would. Let's see here. Somebody in chat. I'd be messing around all the time if someone was judging food based on my face.
Oh, for sure. Old Wen's hilarious. I'll talk about him later.
He breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. All right, what's your next scene? Because I think you've probably got more in between what I picked are my like 3 or 4.
I've got one that was.
I basically did every dinner.
You did? Wait, what?
So every Sunday dinner that something got announced.
You did that?
That's the ones that I did.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, in that case, the only one between now and the next Sunday dinner may be, and it's not even like a specific scene. I mean, it is, but she talks. Ji Ning talks about. I think it was her that said this about the when she grew up and her dad used to make her like the bakery jewelry, like the rings and the bracelets.
That's I think that's Jia Qing.
Oh,
Chin.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But anyway, I just thought like that was a very like visual and emotional line / scene. I just thought it was really cute because like I'd never really heard that before, like making jewelry out of like dough. I thought that really showcased how much Mr. Chu like cared about his daughter.
Yeah, I think that while we get stories for each of the daughters, the main relationship is between Shu and Jia Qian.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why we get that last scene in the movie, the father-daughter thing at the very, very, very end. Like, I am partial to their story as
Oh,
father daughter, as opposed to like the romance of the other two in this. But yeah, no, everything it's unique because like you see their dynamic when Win goes to the hospital for the first time and he's talking to her. He's like, your father loved you. He loved having you in the kitchen, all this stuff. But he also saw that he didn't want you to be like in the kitchen and do this work. He wanted you to be better than this. And you're successful. You're doing great. And, but we obviously see that she had a passion for this food thing and a skill and didn't get to pursue it because of her dad being a little bit harder and being like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah, and then old Win just fucking died. Like he was, and then just died.
That's how I plan to go.
That'd be nice, right? I mean, he was in his kitchen where he loves, and he's just like, all right.
He just rested a little bit and then done. The thing I had one is, so let's talk about Jia Ning, who is the youngest daughter. She works at Wendy's, and her whole story.
Was it Wendy's?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Wendy's.
Wendy's nuts hit your face.
End the stream now. End it.
It's done.
He got me.
Got him. But seriously, she does work at Wendy's.
Oh, okay. That's good to know because I thought I got.
No, you did not get got. Got him. That's definitely a got him. I definitely got him. Yeah, she works at Wendy's. She's the youngest daughter. She has like put herself in the middle of these two people, this boy and this girl that she works with, who are playing this weird like I don't like you game. I don't love you game, and this poor heart sick boy or love sick boy is just throwing himself at this girl, and she's like, she doesn't even like you. And she's like, I like let's hang out. And I like that dynamic, this whole like new love, like first love kind of thing, and how they get to know each other. She just kind of forces herself into his life and is like, hey, yeah, I'm the one that's paying attention to you. I'm the one that's talking to you. She's playing hard to get or playing that she doesn't even like you at all. So I really like that story, which leads to my next scene, which is, we see a lot of stuff in there of them like getting to know each other and finally, falling in love with one another. But the scene I'm talking about is that Sunday dinner when she announces that she's moving out and that she's pregnant.
Just like that.
I love seeing their faces every time something gets announced, but they're just like, huh?
That dude had a sick ass apartment though.
Yeah. Okay. I wrote that in my notes. That's actually on my like, what the fuck is like that apartment's amazing,
dude. I was like, when he like took her there, I was like, did he break in? Because like, what the hell is this? It's amazing. I would immediately move in with that guy.
Yeah, that apartment. I was like, I just put, I'm angry about the size of his apartment,
dude. It's so big.
So big. And did his parents get did he say something about his parents getting it for him?
Yeah, he said something about like his mom died and left it to him or something. I thought maybe not.
Yeah. There's something about that. But she gets knocked up.
Oh yeah.
And they move in together and she's moving out. The youngest is moving out. She doesn't have to deal with dad anymore. And it's just kind of sudden and everybody's shocked. I just love the shock on people's faces.
Yeah, that leads me to my next scene, though.
Is
the scene between the middle sister, Jia Chen, and the oldest sister, Jia Jin. So they're talking after the youngest sister left, and that ended up with a whole lot of quotes. I won't go too into it right now, but that ended up being the source of a lot of quotes for me because that was just like a really deep scene because they kind of talk about like their past and like how they should feel and where they should go going forward. And I thought that was a really sweet like sister moment.
I agree. I like the sisters' interaction here. I also feel that this movie took me in a place that I didn't really want to go in my own personal life. And as us children, we're all like, most of us that I know that are involved in this are in their 30s. We have boomer parents that are a little bit older, mine especially, I know, but like, and having other siblings that you see your parents grow old and you see them get sick or something bad happens or they become unhealthy or something, and you're like, who's going to take care of these people? Who is like, and like that interaction between those two sisters is like, well, I guess it's on me now. Like the I think Jia Jen is like, yep, I guess it's on me. Like, you were gonna go off and get married, you're pretty and successful. And I felt bad for Jia Jen.
Well, I mean, she says like, go to Amsterdam, like, that's what you should do, and that's what I expected to happen. In fact, I think I wrote this down, that I was surprised that Jia Chen was the last one left, because I thought she'd be the first to go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she is absolutely stunning, by the way.
I think they're all very pretty. I think
they are, but Jia Chen, I don't know, something knockout.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was also like left. We were trying to guess what their ages were the whole time we were watching, and I think Alyssa like nailed it. She was like, "Yeah, this the youngest is 20. Jia Chen is like 25, and Jia Jen is like 30."
Wow.
Yeah, she was like, I know all those their ages and everything.
And not like, I'll be honest, like with that culture, like it's hard to tell. They all look young.
Well, yeah, and like everybody lives at home with their parents for a long, long time. Like I just watched Past Lives this past weekend, which is actually one of my movies that I'll talk about later. But like the main male character in that film is in his 30s and still lives with his parents because that's like their culture. That's Korean, but that's part of their culture. So
it feels like, I don't know, it feels like a lot of I would say like non-European, non-Caucasian cultures are like that. Like It feels like white people are the only ones that don't have that culture, which is weird because I mean, you brought up earlier, our parents getting older or something happening or something, somebody being sick and we're not there to take care of them. Like I feel like that's almost the white only problem. Like we watch all these movies, these Chinese movies, Japanese, Hispanic movies, they're always, close with their parents, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, it's I just, again, a part of like lack of culture that white people don't have. I said it this weekend. I was like, man, I wish we had some culture, because
I say that all the time.
like it's so disappointing. I see all these things and I'm just like, like why can't I have that? Like this is why white people are always culturally appropriating, because you see all these like really rich cultures out there and you're like, man, that's cool, and we just don't have it.
We just steal it.
You're right. That's our culture, is theft.
It's true.
So I don't know. So what's your next one?
I don't know if this is between now and the next dinner. I think it is, though. The next dinner you have is probably a big Mr. Chu moment, right?
No, my next dinner is Jia Jen announcing that she's moving out.
Let me just go ahead with this one then, because
okay.
I can't place it between one or the next. But it wasn't even like a super notable scene, but it made me think. I don't know, it added a lot of depth to the movie, I thought, and that was Jia Chen and her conversation with Raymond. And I want to say that was after she had turned down Lee Kai for the first time.
Yeah. Do we hate Raymond? How do we feel about Raymond?
Well, I'll let you know based on this scene. So it basically left me feeling like he made a safe choice because Raymond was like, I'm going to be with Sophia because my life wouldn't change. So it sounded like he was in it for the convenience, rather than taking a risk for a potentially better fit, but one that would cause more change. And, let me know if I'm wrong, because that's one of the questions I had for you. It seems like he's like a super big scumbag, because did he allude to the fact that he would cheat on his future wife?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yes. That was
okay.
I was cool with Raymond until that point.
He was like, what about the office in the back? And I was like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, no, he was gonna cheat on. He's like, hey, we could still be friends.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was with him for a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, they have a normal, like, hey, we were both in agreement about how we were going to have this relationship. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'm getting married to this person. And then he was like, hey, let's see, we can still be friends. We can bang it out if you want.
Nah, all my homies hate Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond's not. I'm not on board with Raymond. I was okay with Raymond at first.
Well, I was too, and then he was like, he got slimier and slimier.
Yeah,
and then the opposite thing happened to me with where is he? Let me
you talking about Lee Kai?
No. Well, I get that.
Ming Dao?
Ming Dao, yeah.
The gym coach or whatever?
With Ming Dao, because I was like, oh, he's a total tool, and then he ended up being like funny as shit. So
you can't be a total tool when you wear sweatpants and drive a
that's true.
a moped.
Well, no, it was not. No, it was not a moped.
Well, what? Oh, it was like a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was like a legit motorcycle.
Okay. I was just hoping that Dong would just start slanging in them gray sweatpants or those.
If only, dude. That would have put me up to 5 stars plus.
That's what more movies need: is more sweatpants, more Dong.
Yeah, there's not enough Dong to boob ratio.
Not enough. You're right. So, okay, let's talk about Ming Dao, because that comes to my next scene is like when we see this very Jia Jian, who is the Christian, who is converted to Christianity, and she is born again, and she's very into this, and she teaches at this school, and we see her interacting slowly with this volleyball coach, gym teacher guy, who she ends up falling in love with because of some kids pranking her.
Yeah, and then, dude, then she comes to school that one day, and as the kids would say, she left no crumbs. She ate that day.
I feel like you've been watching a lot of RuPaul's
TikTok?
Drag Race.
Oh, 100%. And I'll get to that later too.
She's I forget some of the things that they say on that show, but
she served face.
She definitely served face. She slayed.
She slayed, yeah.
She sashayed and slayed.
She shantaed, she stayed.
No, but yeah, I do like. So these kids were pranking her the whole time and sending her notes that were like love notes, and she thought it was the gym teacher, and then the gym teacher took pity on her and was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll love you." Is that how you took it? Because
a little bit, but at the same time, it was like, I don't know, because like the things like he said to her before driving off let me like think that he was kind of interested, but not like send love notes interested. But then whenever that happened, like he did feel bad, and he was like a shoulder to cry on, and ultimately, but his face whenever they started kissing, though, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, because he was
okay.
Yeah, he was not like fully on board, and then he was like, "Yeah, I guess I could do this. This sounds cool." We got here.
I mean, I guess good on those students. They set up for success.
They're little matchmakers. Yeah. But yeah, when she announces that she's married, she's already married at that point. They've eloped, and he's waiting outside. That was my favorite part. This poor man is just sitting.
Well, not only that, she opens the door and hits him in the dick.
It was so good. I loved that part. Because I did see her as being like kind of left with the left to fend for the father that we are assuming based on previous scenes is unhealthy. He's been seen at the hospital, at the cardiologist, and then I think also during this time old Win passes away. So that's probably just like in the back of Jia Chen's mind. As she finds out this information, she's kind of stuck with her dad because she got screwed over in a deal, which pissed me off so much.
Dude, that pissed me off too. Like, could you imagine like putting basically your life savings as a down payment on an apartment, and then it's just like somebody just ran away? Like and not that I'm like easily scammed or anything, but for some reason that also like you, I assume, hit home because like it's a thing that would happen.
It seems very 2024. It seemed very prescient, and yeah, I was very pissed off at that too.
I get it.
So yeah, like just seeing the defeat that Jia Qian has there, she is kind of the last one there. Also, she finds out some information there during this time that. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Somebody in chat just said, "Why was there a random man in the field there to tell her that she got scammed?"
Hey pal, you just got scammed. Was he just waiting for everybody?
I think so. She was so excited to tell him about this new apartment, and this poor man is just shoveling like dirt. I don't know what he's doing. Mud farming.
He's basically the Slugworth.
Oh, he is Slugworth. That's a good pull. Good job. Good for you. Good for you. But yeah, there was that random man to tell her that she got scammed. Monty Python. Yes, that's what he felt like. He felt like a peasant from Monty Python. 100%. That's all I could think of when I saw that man. Mud farming. Man, that broke my heart. Poor Jia Chen.
That crushed me.
What's next on yours?
The next one is the last dinner scene with the Mr. Chu. You too?
Yeah, that was my last one too.
Okay, yeah, where he asks for Jin Rong's hand in marriage and not Miss Liang's. But then, like, the tension, this may be the hardest I laughed in the entire movie, and it was when Ming Dao went for the toast immediately after. Because that was just like so him.
Yes. No. I really love that. That is probably the hardest I laughed. And I wonder if I laughed at that harder than I should have, just because everybody else was so upset in that scene. Like all the daughters were upset and everything, but I was laughing hysterically. I mean, it's just out of nowhere completely. The only thing we get is this very sweet scenes where he like has been taking care of this woman's daughter by getting her awesome food every day, and like him running into her on the street because her daughter was sick one day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been eating your food. It's not very good, but I've been eating it."
He's been eating it. He didn't like it, but he's been eating it.
He can't taste anything, so he doesn't care.
It's true, but I mean, he alluded to like the fact of it being tough, because one time he tried to eat it, he was like,
"Oh yeah." Oh, don't forget that was their childhood friend. If my dad proposed to my child,
that's true.
I would have a meltdown. I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Yeah. I can't imagine my dad just being like married to my best friend. Or my mom being married to my best friend.
I was going to say, well, she's a guy. So.
Oh, gosh. Ralph and Emily don't belong together. I assume that's we're talking about. That's her dad and her best friend. I'd watch that movie. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, I love seeing the look on Mrs. Liang's face
Yes,
when, like, was she expecting this man to propose to her? Like,
100%.
after like they just sit around and smoke together, or she smokes, he doesn't smoke.
Well, she thought she put in the time, but
I guess that's how it goes. Just pound some cigs. He calls her auntie. When he said auntie, I died.
yeah, there's some more stuff with him and Miss Liang that I really laughed at.
Oh man. So and then it leads to like, okay, he moves out and then they're selling his house. Um the names are again, the names are so hard for me.
Jiaxian.
Jia Chen decides that she's going to move to Amsterdam. She is going to take that promotion. Good for her. I'm glad she did.
Yeah, I was hoping she would.
Yeah, she found out that her dad was not unhealthy and actually was very healthy, so that's cool. But the last scene we get, I really do like, is her preparing a Sunday dinner and him coming over.
I do have a question about
Yeah.
that last scene for you. I don't know. You've probably done maybe more research or know more about it. It seemed very, very theatrical.
I said the same thing. It was the
Okay,
first
it felt
thing.
like a play.
It felt like a play. The ending, especially, like when he goes daughter, father.
Yeah.
That last thing, I was like, yeah, this seems like a play, and it would be a really good play.
Was it based on one?
No.
Okay, that's what I mean. That was my question because it seemed like super play oriented.
Yes, it seemed definitely like a play. I said that was the first thing I said to her. I was like, oh, this seems like a play.
I'm glad you felt the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we missed out on some other things in here, like the
We'll talk about
interactions
them.
between Lee Kai, and because I was a little confused for a second when Jia Chen is starting to like get hot and heavy with Lee Kai, and we find out that Lee Kai is the former boyfriend, but not really boyfriend, of her older sister.
Yeah, it actually
was-
ended up being like Jin Rong, right?
Yeah, it was Jin Rong's boyfriend. So, what do we think about Jia Jen? Is she a liar?
Yeah, that was a little weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think if, in my understanding, it was basically she was trying to get everybody off of her back about getting married or having a boyfriend because she was constantly asked that like all the time. She's like, "When are you getting married? Like, when are you getting married? When are you getting married?" So she was probably early in life being like, "Oh yeah, I got this high school sweetheart." Lee Kai, and we'll end up getting married eventually. And so it's probably just a way of her keeping people from asking.
Yeah, that's got to be the only reason, right? For her to lie so much, because everybody knew. Old Wen knew about it. Like, he made reference to her getting dumped by her college boyfriend, or is Jia Jen just delusional?
I was wondering that too. She did kind of give off that vibe, and like attaching herself to the first person that showed her any like reciprocal affection. Like,
but she's a babe. Like, what's wrong with her?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Who's your favorite character in this movie, though?
Well, scene stealer / favorite character probably is going to be Old Wen, just because he made me laugh so much. But I do also want to give honorable mention to Ming Dao and his clumsiness, because Ming Dao may have made me laugh the most throughout the entire movie. Him getting hit in the crotch and then some other things, like he was really fun.
I liked my favorite character, I think, is Mr. Shu, the father. I just think he's got it, especially when he starts interacting with the little girl, who I think is really cute, and definitely steals some scenes, especially when she's like taking orders for that was really cute.
That's in mine too. She's adorable, and their relationship is really good.
I guess what's her name? Rachel?
Yeah.
Which is a weird name as compared to everybody else.
Well, I mean, and then you have like Raymond.
Oh yeah, Rachel Raymond.
It's just, I don't. It is weird that they had. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Usher, who knows? I really like that nobody's really an asshole in this movie. Except for Raymond, right?
I mean, even like on an asshole scale,
He's not the
like,
worst. You're
yeah,
right.
like he could be worse.
He could be worse, but that was definitely an asshole thing. Whenever,
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure. And
the other asshole I think in this movie might be Jia Ning, because she like basically just
no,
inserted herself, but she's really not, because she
yeah,
said, "I thought you didn't like him."
yeah, I'm gonna disagree with that one for sure. I think you could argue that Jai Jen was more of an asshole because of her lying.
Jia Jen,
Yeah,
yeah, she could be an asshole. I think everybody's a little bit of an asshole, but like in an asshole in a way that we are all assholes in
yeah,
our own
yeah.
life, like.
Well, and Miss Liang too. I mean, thinking
Oh,
that
Miss
like,
Liang's the biggest asshole.
yeah, like she's gonna get what she wants.
Yeah, everybody should get divorced.
Yeah, when yeah, some of the stuff she said was like, mm-mm.
No, I agree with her. All right, let's talk about some quotes that you like. I've probably put down just the normal ones that are in here, but look, give me some of yours.
I've got a lot. All right, this
Okay,
was
good.
a way more quotable movie than I would have expected. I'm not gonna say this in the original tongue because I don't feel confident, but you know, I'll do my best in English.
Please.
So the white guy comes up to the counter at, now I know that it was Wendy's. And he said, I ordered the chicken, and Jia Ning said, that is the chicken, and he just left.
He's just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The one white guy in this movie.
That was super random. I was like, oh damn, dude speaks Chinese, like that's cool.
Yeah, good for him.
And then Old Win said, just like me to almost get killed by a fart.
That was good. I do love that.
Let's see. The little girl saying, when, like you had mentioned, she was taking orders.
Taking the orders.
And she said, fried rice, too easy for Mr. Shu. He won't do it. You go ahead and hit me with some.
Yeah. No, Old Wen and Chu talking. Old Chu, don't get upset. Girls eventually leave home. It was bound to happen. He says, I'm not upset. I hope they all move out so I can have a quiet life. I like that. And basically any of the things that he says about like raising children or anything. So life should not be like cooking. You need to wait until all ingredients are prepared. Raising daughters is like cooking a meal. You lose your appetite by the time you're finished. And then from the like title of the movie, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, basic human desires, can't avoid them. All my life, that's all I've ever done. It pisses me off. Is that all there is to life? So that's those are the ones that I noted and kept in. What else you got?
This one maybe made me laugh more than it should, but it was Jia Ning's friend, and she said, I hid my love because it was so strong, and it just made me laugh because she was like playing so hard to get, but like basically like, I don't like you hard to get.
Too hard to get.
Yeah. Another one was, and this was just kind of, I don't know if I would, not even a cultural thing, just kind of a personality thing. I thought it was cool to showcase like personality differences. Somebody said they were getting annoyed by people singing, and somebody said, we communicate by eating, they do it by singing. And I just thought that was kind of a beautiful line.
Yeah, no, I really like those people. I mean, I don't like them, but I did like that line because they were doing karaoke across the way. But I also like the reaction to the karaoke that Jia Jen does, and like gets the speakers out and starts blasting her God music.
Was it Ave Maria?
Yeah, it was.
And then I don't remember who said this. I didn't attribute it. But somebody said, this may be your home, but is it your life? And I thought that was really cool. I want to say it was Jia Jen to Jia Chen.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the line from one of their conversations.
And then same, yeah, because I think this is the same conversation Jia Chen says, "And what do you know of my life?" And Jia Chen says, "Nothing, because you've never shared it."
Yeah.
Um, and then the last one was near the very end. The sneaky line I thought was, Jia Chen's talking to Mr. Shu and says, "And Jinrong's ultrasound," and he says, "Who cares?" And she said, "Wonderful, another daughter."
Who cares? Another daughter. This poor man.
I know, right?
Any other quotes?
No,
Anybody
that's
in chat have any quotes for us? If we do, please put them there.
I don't know. Ryan didn't watch the last 30 minutes.
He didn't watch the last 30 minutes. That's okay. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill that you got?
I have a lot of laughs.
Okay.
Uh,
My biggest laugh, I think, is when the dad announced his engagement. That's when I laughed the loudest.
I did laugh at that, yeah, for sure. The different ways that they were cheating in class made me laugh.
Oh, they seemed like I was like, yeah, I could do that. I was like, the tie, the one
Dude.
where he had the answers in his tie. That
A
was
pro move.
definitely a pro. I love that.
I was very impressed. We've already talked about the little girl ordering or taking all the students' orders.
Mhm.
One of them that made me one scene. It wasn't even like it was just like a quick throwaway glance, and it was Miss Liang putting out the cigarettes on her daughter's cookie. That made me laugh. Every time that Miss Liang was smoking, Mr. Chu like coughing and covering his face, because that's something that my wife does, like to people that are smoking outside. I've talked about like the general clumsiness of Ming Dao, and then that kind of adds to it, like Mr. Shu's sons-in-law trying to catch the chickens near the end.
That was I did like that. I liked how accepting he was, that he was like, "Yep, these men are in my life, like are in my daughter's lives. They're like, get me my chicken." Like he was.
Yeah, he was a super good dad.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to what Ryan was saying about like there's nobody really an asshole in this movie. So just like, yeah, I guess I'm stuck with these idiots that knocked up my daughter.
Both of them.
The only other things I have for this is like when Old Win dies, I think that is very sad.
I had that as my most what the fuck moment. One of them.
Yeah, same. It's exactly what I have too. Is like he just died, and like, why did he? I mean, obviously, like you have a job and like you want to get back to it, and it's your passion and all that stuff. Like old win, old loss is very funny.
Damn it,
that's so good.
That is good.
But yeah, him dying out of nowhere. God, especially after he had those like really good hospital scenes with Jen Chen or John Chen, or I can't even. I'm struggling.
John
Chen, yes. I was very sad about that. But yeah, that was my what the fuck moment.
Well, my other what the fuck moment already was mentioned too, and that was Mr. Shu blowing into the goose.
It makes me think of like foreskin and like somebody blowing it.
Well, can't get that out of my head now.
My other one is like the Lee Kai revelation, because I didn't know, like, I think if I would have understood more of it and like tried to keep up with names and everything, I would have known that Lee Kai was the guy's name this whole time.
What do you think it was?
I didn't understand that it was revealed until they were like going at it. And she's like, "Call me my sister's name." And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That would be confusing. Yeah, I get it.
And then when I figured it out, I was like,
Call me Jai Jen.
Yeah, I was so confused. And I was just, I didn't know what to think about that at all. So lucky me. But it almost made it work better because it was revealing in that moment as opposed to when they were washing dishes or whatever. And
I do like that. I think I like that concept that they revealed it like later rather than just like blatantly coming out and saying it.
Yeah. But then you have to deal with that whole like that Lee Kai wasn't dating her at all. You have to deal with that. Another thing I really just bringing up Lee Kai, and this doesn't really have to do with like ridiculous moments or anything. I really liked the scene between Lee Kai and Jia Chen at the end whenever he was like, "I'm glad we didn't have sex. Basically like I respect you and I would rather have you as a friend." And it didn't feel like somebody like you've seen in other movies or TV shows where people have sex and they're like, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that." Like I like that they didn't have sex and he was.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
But I like the handshake. I liked all that. That was good.
I thought she looked like a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, like respectful.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Well, she's going to be his boss anyway, so
that's true. Yeah.
In Amster, damn. Best music moment or score? We just recognize the score, unless you had something else.
Well, I mean, I do actually have two specific.
Yeah.
And I, I don't have names of songs or anything like that, but there was twice that played kind of the same song. And it was a non-traditionally Asian music. It was almost like Caribbean or Latin. And I remember specifically one time being after the volleyball coach asked the teacher out for the first time. And I don't know, the music kind of, I don't know, it was happy, like Latin music almost to me. And I don't know if that was like not, I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just something that maybe, Latin America borrowed from, Chinese culture or vice versa. But it was really cool. And then it was a good change of pace, especially with the happy scene going on. And then the other beautiful song that I noted was after Old Lin died and they went back home. It was there was like a stringed instrument, like almost like really quick, like I can't explain it.
Yeah, no, I get it. The score, it was written, I forget, I didn't write down the person's like real name, but they went by a name called Mader, Mader, who did the entire score, not to be confused with Tow Mater from Cars.
I know Mader.
You know Mader.
Hey, I'm taking you with me.
All right, take me with you.
Keep going.
This is really important, though, because I need you to do an F, Marry, Kill with the three sisters. I think I already know what you're going to go with, but Jia Jian, Jia Chen, and Jia Ning.
Let's see. I think I would go ahead and kill Jia Chen.
Are you peeing?
What?
Are you peeing?
I can't hear. So I'm going to go ahead and kill Jia Chen. I think I'm going to F. What is her name again? The youngest one?
Jia Ning.
Yeah, Jia Ning. And then I think I'm going to marry Jia Chen because she's so funny. I wake up and look at that face every day.
Now let me throw Jin Rong in there. Jesus.
What?
Jin Rong. Let me throw her in there.
Well, as a fourth? Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
You got to kill two of them.
Well, I'll kill her too.
No, bro.
I wasn't super into Jin Rong.
I like Jin Rong. I thought she was cute. She reminds me of the girl from the I don't. This is so.
Sorry.
I don't know what to do with this right now.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I guess.
She reminds you of the woman from the last movie?
Yeah.
The haircut?
The haircut. It was the short hair.
Nah. Jin Rong, she can't cook. She's just, I don't know.
No, she's gonna be good. I don't know.
Then wrong, ain't it?
You killed me.
What?
You've killed me.
I honestly couldn't. For the last 5 minutes, I've not been able to hear you much.
Because did you wash your hands?
No.
Okay, lick them for me real quick.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But there's no time.
No
I've
time.
got to.
All right, who gave the best performance?
Fuck's sake. Jia Chen.
That's who I put. I put Lian Wu. I thought Jian Chen had the best performance. Minus the dad. I think he was probably next with the performance line. But yeah, I agree with you that Jia Chen, the actress that played her,
Who was your other one?
the dad.
Oh yeah, me too. I had honorable mention for him.
Yeah, I think he killed it. All right. If you had to recast this film, could you do it?
Not in 94.
Not in 94. No.
2024, I tried.
Okay, let's do it. I want to hear it.
I need you to give me a lot of forgiveness.
I will give you all the forgiveness except for the peeing on my stream.
No, you're gonna forgive that. What I was not supposed to go. So 20. No. So now, so we've seen it done for what, Taipei. We've seen it done for the Mexican American film in Tortilla Soup. I think I'd like to see it done for either Italian or French cuisine, because both of those are pretty exquisite. I don't know a whole lot of French actors, and I'm kind of reaching for Italian actors. So here we go for the Italian version of the film. I've got, as Mr. Shu, I've got Michael Imperioli.
Okay.
As Jianing, I've got Alexandra Daddario.
Okay.
I'm sorry already.
Okay.
As Jia Chen, I've got Violante Placido.
I have no idea who that is.
Me either. And as Jia Jen, I've got Asia Argento.
Did you just put in Italian actresses?
Yes,
Awesome.
I did. And I found the best.
I stuck with Asian, and tried to get as close to Chinese as I could. Jackie Chan as the dad. I would like to see him in as the dad. I thought Awkwafina would be good in this. If you haven't seen, you need to see The Farewell. For anybody that questions the Awkwafina casting, definitely check out The Farewell. Very similar vibes, especially when it talks about, like, it's a very family heavy movie. Stephanie Hsu, who is in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then Lana Condor as kind of the who's in To All the Boys I Loved Before, as the youngest sister. So I went from, I think I would probably I would make Awkwafina Jia Chen and Stephanie Hsu as Jia Jen. But that's really what I would do. But I think you're absolutely, like, I could see this Italian American. I could see this as African American. I can see this in many different ways. And I think that again, because it feels like a play, I think it would be really easy to adapt that into this. So I don't think you did terrible. I don't want Asia Argento in anything, though.
I don't know who she is, so
she's Dario Argento's daughter. She's not.
As if I know who that is.
He's a famous director of
Well,
giallo films, Italian horror films. I'm just trying to be pretentious now. Any fun facts that you have?
Nope. Mine was 100% Tortilla Soup, and I'm a little disappointed that you already knew about it. So.
Sorry. The opening scene, the only fun fact that I have is the opening scene with the preparation of the food. That took a week to film. That whole thing took a week to film. So
it doesn't take a week to cook, but whatever. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not. But for it to make it look as pretty as it was and like him go all out, like it makes sense that it took a week to film. All right. If you had to give this a rewatchability rating,
Wait,
what?
I feel like you skipped some stuff.
I haven't skipped anything yet.
Okay, we'll go with it.
If you had to give it a rewatchability rating, what would you rate it out of 5?
Simply because of the language and that's well, I'll explain it later. Simply because of the language, I gave it a 4.
Same.
I didn't give it like a higher than a 4 because it is one that you'll have to like read the subtitles for. So it's not like the easiest rewatch, but the story alone is a really good rewatch.
Yeah. I gave it 4 as well. I really enjoyed this movie. And could see myself watching it again. I would like to go through like that whole trilogy that I had mentioned earlier, the Father Knows Best trilogy, and see if there are any similarities or if I like them just as much. The one thing I'll say about that Father Knows Best trilogy is the dad is the same dad in all of he's not playing the same character, but he is the dad character in all 3 of those.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Overall star rating out of 5.
I gave it a 4.5. I think it is the best movie we've seen this year.
Wow.
I really do.
Okay. It's up there. It's definitely probably number 2 on my list of the.
What would number 1 be for you, Chungking?
I'm really partial to Chungking. I love Chungking Express.
Fair enough.
I think it does a lot for me. So I gave this movie a 4. Just 4s across the board. So if you had to say something negative about this movie, what would you say?
The only thing I could really think of was like maybe, and it's hard to do with the sequence of who left the house when, but I thought maybe seeing a little bit of more Jai Ning would have been nice, just because she felt almost like the most left out of the sisters.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, that I would have liked to have seen the other sister, the younger sister. But like we do get a good amount of her, and sequentially it made sense. But like you are left without her for the last half of the movie. Like you don't get any updates really on her and her life and how they're doing, and you get a little bit.
And and clearly, like she must be somewhat close because she is invited to that last Sunday dinner that she nor Jai Jin attend, but I mean she's invited, so she has to be relatively close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I do agree with you though. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more with her. I would have liked to have seen the sisters interact a little bit more, because I don't really think of this movie as a romance movie. I mean, there is romance in it, but it really is a family movie. It is about their family dynamic and those sisters and the relationship that they have with their father. So, and even Old Wen and that relationship and things. So,
well, I think too, you could argue that that's kind of part of all families. Like some siblings are closer than others.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jai Jin and Jai Chen are closer than maybe they are with Jai Ning. So
yeah, it probably has to do with her being young, like 20 or whatever. It's like, even though it's probably like a 5-year gap for all of them, it's so much different when you have the youngest sibling is working at Wendy's. Well, I'm already in my professional career, and so we have more in common. Yeah, so I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with working at Wendy's. It's just the gap there. So, like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
So we talked about tortilla soup. I think that's the obvious answer.
Yeah.
I actually stayed in that Latin American vein though, and said Like Water for Chocolate, because it was also, kind of a food focused film, a little bit, kind of takes it in a little bit different direction, but it's still kind of centered around food, and then the surrounding events, kind of happen as they do.
Yeah, I like that. I picked 2 food-centric movies. The first one is, I believe it's Japanese, but it's a movie. It's a 1985 movie called Tampopo, and it has like these different. They're like vignettes, but they have to deal with like love and food, and it's more comedy than anything, but very, very good. Although there is a scene where there are two people, a man and a woman, who are exchanging an egg yolk between each other as they're kissing and trying not to
Ew,
break it.
bro.
I need you to watch it.
Wait, what's that called again?
Tampopo. I do want to acknowledge this in the chat. Somebody said Despicable Me, and I have not seen Despicable Me, but it does have to do with a father and 3 daughters.
Whoa, I thought that was a joke.
No, I think they're. I believe Alyssa's very serious about this. So
I have seen that movie. I didn't care for it that much, but
okay.
damn.
Joy Luck Club is another one that's. I believe that might be an Ang Lee film as well. That came out last year, and I think Joy Luck is a dish. Oh, it's directed by Wayne Wang. I'm sorry about that, but I believe that Joy Luck is a dish, a Chinese dish. But we should have watched it last year. I apologize. Somebody else said Taste of Things feels similar if we're going way more romance, which I've never seen The Taste of Things, but I believe that's a movie that just came out. I think it's the French selection for the Oscars this year. So The Taste of Things, I think it's Juliette Binoche is in that movie. I believe it's in theaters now, so definitely check that out. The other one that I thought of was Soul Food, which it's not a romance movie, but it is a family movie. It is a family drama centered around food. It is, African American cast. Vivica A. Fox is in it. Nia Long, Vanessa Williams, Mekhi Phifer. All these people are in this movie. I remember watching that movie when I was probably way too young to understand it, but I got vibes from that as well. So definitely check that out. So, anything else that we might have missed?
I don't think so. I might have to go check out that movie. I don't know if I've seen all of it. I think I might have seen bits and pieces of Soul Food.
Yeah, that's. I don't remember it. I remember enough about it where I could probably use it again. But before we end today, is there anything that we missed or anything that we need to talk about before we leave?
I do have one question, and I don't know if you'll know the answer. If it was just like a cultural thing, or if this was a bit that was that was supposed to be funny. But when Jia Chen had tea with Lee Kai, why did she pour from the big teapot into the little teapot, and then from the little teapot into the cup, and then from the cup into the smaller cup? Like, was that some kind of gag, or is that a cultural thing?
You got me, man. I have no idea. I wish I had the answers.
I laughed, but I don't know if I was supposed to.
I don't know.
Because, like, they had this big one, and then she poured it into this little one, and then she poured it into this cup and put it in the cup, and then took it out of the cup, and then poured the cup into the little, tinier cup, and then drank it.
Well, I know one was water. One is hot water going into her teapot, which has the tea in it. And then she's pouring just a little bit of tea into a smaller cup. But I don't know what the fourth process is.
That's too many layers to tea.
Well, that's why we don't drink tea. Again, we have no culture.
I mean, we make mac and cheese.
Yep. But that came from somewhere. So
yeah, you're right.
Well, Spencer, we've done it. We've watched Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, and we're pleasantly surprised.
It was great. Yeah.
Thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate you. But I always like to end on movie recommendations of something that you've recently watched. So if there's anything that you have been watching that you'd like to recommend to people, now's your chance.
A lot. because and let me preface this by saying I've been on like a big docu-series kick lately, and the main reason behind that is because I've been playing a lot of FIFA, and those are really easy to watch while I'm playing FIFA. So those include let's see, American Nightmare. I don't remember what that was on or what it was about, but I watched it. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, that was on HBO Max. Sorry, that one was wild. I was kind of live tweeting you about that. Big Little Brawlers. I'll talk to you about that a bit.
Love some Big Little Brawlers.
I watched Big Vape, which is the rise and fall of Jewel. Also Icarus. And finally, I just before I came on, I finished the Barbara of Little Rock, and I actually shared that one on Facebook because that was a really powerful documentary, short documentary in my opinion, for the local community. I thought that was really good. And then I've also been watching some movies as well, some that you've recommended, some that I've just watched. That's King of Comedy, which is really good. Michael Clayton I watched last night. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Michael Clayton is so good.
I watched Monkey Kingdom last night.
I don't know Monkey Kingdom.
It's just a nature documentary, but
okay.
It's about these monkeys. I don't know. I was just really into it. And then finally, this is probably the one I would recommend to most people. And this is a show, and it's the Vince Staples show on Netflix. It was a lot better than I ever would have expected. It's got like some Jordan Peele elements to it, also while having a lot of comedy. So I thought it was really good. A lot of people compare it to Atlanta, but I really like it, and I hope they renew it for another season.
Okay.
What about you? What you been watching?
Well, honestly, I haven't been watching too much. I have been watching some Northern Exposure, which is a 90s comedy drama series. It's on Amazon Prime. I love it. It's insane and has just crazy plot points. So watching that, I watched The King of Comedy and then recommended it to you as a Scorsese 80s movie. If you've seen the movie Joker, Joker based a lot of what it got from King of Comedy and everything from this. So De Niro's amazing in this movie, and 80s Scorsese is this incredible. Dude's on a tear, and like we all know him for some of his later stuff and like some like his gangster stuff, he's starting with like Goodfellas, Casino, stuff like that. But like, man, I've watched King of Comedy this year and the movie After Hours, and I think those are two of his best movies. Like,
I was going to ask, do you like King of Comedy better than The Joker?
Yes,
I think I do too.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And then also, where do you rank that as far as like one of De Niro's best performances? Because that's the earliest I've probably seen De Niro, so it may be my top.
It is. I mean, De Niro is incredible. But it's up there. That's probably a top 5 performance for me from him. Because it is a little bit of like a comedy performance, which is something that we don't see. It's a dark comedy. Yeah, but it is that comic performance that we don't often see from him, outside of like Lil Fockers. But yeah, like that, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, I think those are also in probably his top 5, but Godfather Part 2, he's incredible in that as well. So I think it's up there for me, top 5.
I mean, it's no Mad Dog in Glory, but
it's no Mad Dog in Glory. It's no, This Boy's Life, where he's like, "What about me?" Jackie Brown. I completely forgot about him in Jackie Brown. He's incredible in Jackie Brown.
Don't get dry gulched.
Don't get dry gulched. You're right. The other movie that I will that I want to talk about is Past Lives, which is give me that pill. I need that pill. Past Lives, which is nominated for Best Picture this year. It is currently on what is it on? Paramount Plus. If you have Showtime,
Is
like
it?
add it in there. It's if you have the Showtime like edition thing, it's in there. It's also on the library app, so do check that out. I will say that if you haven't watched Past Lives or have heard anything about Past Lives, it is a slow like it might not seem significant at first. And then all of a sudden, like a rush of emotions just come in, and it got me, and it was very effective, and I loved it. It shot up there to be one of my favorite films of last year. And I just want more people to watch it so I can talk about it with them. But yeah, that's really what I've been watching recently.
I'm gonna have to check that out. There is one thing I am shocked that you didn't mention this entire stream.
Is it Richie Rich?
No, it's Pedro Almodovar.
Oh yes, that's exact. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That is what Eat, Drink, Man, Woman reminded me of is Pedro Almodovar movies because of like the insane plot, like the melodrama.
And I've only seen one. There's a lot on my list from him that I want to see. The only one I've seen is The Skin I Live In, so that's not really a good comparison. What's the one about? One of them is Voltaire, and the other one is
Voltaire is great. All about my mother, which is amazing, and then Talk to Her. All About My Mother is more about that like familial thing. Yes, it's way more about like family than the Talk to Her, but Talk to Her is probably more about romance than anything.
So you think he would pull off this remake really well?
Oh my god, yeah, he would fucking crush this and make it. And maybe even make it more interesting. Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown is the only one I have. Like, I feel like I have not seen, but yes, Almodovar is definitely a top 10 director for me. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Cause I know like a lot of the stuff you've recommended for me is some of his stuff. I haven't been able to find it on streaming services yet, but yeah, I do want to watch some more of it. And that would be a really interesting, cause I like the one I did see. So that would be interesting to see him like remake this.
I recommend it to everybody, but for you, I specifically think that you would like those movies. Cause they're just the right amount of like crazy. And it's the Spanish culture, and oh my god, they're just amazing, and they're beautiful to look. The colors that he uses, he's doing good things. So anytime anybody can catch those movies, please do watch those.
I'm down. Let me actually write that one down by Ryan as well.
Just go on Letterboxd and type in Almodovar and just put everything on there. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything that we need to cover with Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. This was a great movie, and I'm really happy that I got to watch it for the first time. Our next movie, we're actually moving into a new category, new month in March here, because it is the Oscars month. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be watching the Oscars live. This pod man. That's what this one should be titled. You're right. Next month, we're moving into Oscar movies. So we're doing all 5 of the Best Picture nominees for 1994. So next week, we're going to be doing 4 Weddings and a Funeral. It is currently streaming on Tubi or Hoopla. Or, of course, you can buy it from VOD on Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your Vudu, wherever you get any of these things. We'll be doing that stream next Sunday at 5 p.m. Also, don't forget, we're doing a special episode Wednesday. It's not really a structured episode or anything, but we're talking about our rich kid movies for the year, which is Richie Rich, Blank Check, and Baby's Day Out. I'd love to talk about how terrible all these movies are with somebody because they are not as good as we remember, I promise you. Baby's Day Out might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Baby's Day Out's a classic, but okay.
It's terrible.
I've got that one on VHS.
So I don't. I would have burned it. Other than that, I really appreciate you being here. Everybody here in the chat, thank you for being here. And if you're new and are still following along with us, go ahead and hit that follow here and get on all our other links where we have Discord channel and all that other stuff. So We'll talk to you next week. We'll see you there for 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Thank you all so much. This is 52/1994.
I'm going to go wash my hands.